Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Reptile News. Now I got a pretty good one today and we're going to start off, you remember quite a while ago we talked about the dune sagebrush lizard and its possible listing on the endangered species list, and it was just like a big battle for a long time. It went on way too long if you ask me, and Fish and Wildlife, after much commenting from the oil industry, mostly I believe, decided to not list the lizard. In fact, they do have a voluntary conservation plan in place for it. Well, that lizard has actually hit the news again. Kind of a surprise to me, but then when I read through the details, kind of not. You see, Defenders of Wildlife, as well as the Center of Biological Diversity, who was kind of at the forefront of this fight to list this lizard, are actually suing the Fish and Wildlife Service now because of the listing. Now, they do say that, like I said, there is a voluntary conservation plan in place, but due to local state laws, they don't really have to tell anybody what is being done for the conservation. The scientists that should be looking at this stuff and figuring out whether this is a proper conservation for this lizard do not have access to those files. And apparently now they're not too happy about it and suing them. Now, they do say that the Fish and Wildlife Service delegated authority for this conservation program to a local and private entity, which is the Texas Conservation Habitat Foundation, which also apparently is run by 3 lobbyists for the oil industry. So game over, you lose, I guess. It's going to be interesting to see what really happens with the story. Like I said, I wasn't too horribly happy with the outcome. I was happy there was some sort of an agreement, not necessarily as good as actual legal endangered protection, but apparently with this new information coming up, it's not as good of an idea as I thought it was when I thought this came to an end. So it'll be really interesting to see where we go from here. And now, since we started in Texas, let's stay in Texas and let's talk about 63-year-old William Lamar. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should. You see, William is apparently a longtime herpetologist. Lives in Texas, like I said, Tyler, Texas, I believe. Anyway, William was recently apparently busted by game wardens down there for smuggling reptiles into this country. He was apparently caught by TSA agents smuggling reptiles from snakes from Peru into this country, and it's a tough story, but at the end of the day, he was smuggling reptiles into this country, and Peru has very strict laws that you're not allowed to remove anything from the country without prior government approval, which he apparently did not get. And because in a lot of areas, breaking a law over there to bring it over here, you still can be jailed for, even if it's a non-extradition country. So he apparently is facing quite a few problems now, and even when this is over, I kind of have a feeling that the herpetological community is going to give him quite a few problems as well. And now let's move on to Florida, where a young boy was bitten by a rattlesnake, and I saw the story a couple days ago, and it didn't really catch my eye until the headline I saw today. That really caught my eye. A couple of things about this story. The boy was running through the woods with his friend at a parent birthday party or some celebration when he felt a sharp pain in his leg. He was unfortunately the victim of a wild rattlesnake. He obviously, proper procedure was taken. He was rushed down to the hospital. What really caught my eye with this story, though, is this boy received 80 vials, 80 vials of antivenom, which doctors believe could be an all-time record for a recipient of antivenom. But what really kind of hurts my heart with this story is afterwards they went out and found the snake and killed it, and it's now being preserved, and this boy is trying to figure out what he wants to do with it. He says might keep the skin as a reminder of what he went through. And you know, I've been bitten by a rattlesnake, and luckily, thank you, it was a dry bite. Of course, I don't hold it. Any snake that bites me, I don't hold it against me. It was me being where I shouldn't have been, doing what I shouldn't have been doing, that got me bit. And you know, I feel for people that get bit, especially non-reptile people. You know, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but again, they're in an area where they should not be in. And again, I guess we have freedom to roam, but at the same time, morals or something should tell us that we should not be in an area where these animals live without first being educated as to how to deal with it if we run across them, or how to watch them. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do feel for this boy. I mean, obviously, 80 vials of antivenom, 11 years old, getting bit by a rattlesnake. Clearly, he didn't have a good time, I'll tell you that. It probably was one of the worst things that he'll ever deal with. But at the same time, in turn, the demonization of the animal, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit, and it's very unfortunate that the snake had to die. Again, I've said it a million times before, I understand why they do it, kinda, you know, and I understand, for example, where I live, if you're bitten by a snake and taken to the hospital, they actually want you to kill the snake and bring it with you so they know how to properly treat you. So maybe it's the same there, maybe they were just following protocol, I don't know, but it's unfortunate. I wish the snake didn't have to die. I hope this boy has a full 100% recovery, and hopefully his next experience with snakes is a much, much better one. And yeah, good times. Again, last time I'm going to mention it because this is the last show before this weekend. I'm going to be on Gecko Land Radio with Dave this coming Sunday. You guys don't miss it. It's, what is it? Help me out here, Dave. Leave a comment. 4 p.m., 4 to 6? 5 to 6 p.m. I'll get the hours, and I'll be posting them all over the social networks, and I'll put them also in the description down below. And that, my friends, has been all your news for this Thursday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, that link's right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White, and now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you on Sunday or Monday.